My body, covered in tiny water droplets, shivered under the breath of the steady evening wind. I sat at the edge of a precipice, with nothing but darkness and the sound of my racing heart. Occasionally, a distant sound would pierce through the silence, fastening my heart rate. In those moments, my trembling hands would tighten their iron grip on the edge, fearing what lay beyond. I told myself that this situation is what I have been preparing to face for months, and that I was ready to open my eyes, to face reality. Time passed, and the sound of my name penetrated this darkness and silence I enshrouded myself in, and I opened my eyes. In my sight, I beheld a beautiful blue pool and a cloudless sky. This calmness was such a contrast to my drumming heart. Then, I slowly stood up and approached my swimming instructor. She told me to get into my grab start position and swim across the 9-foot swimming pool. With every second that she counted down on, my muscles became tenser. Then, I dove. Throughout my months of learning how to swim, I thought I had mastered my basic front crawl. However, I was immensely wrong. When the actual moment of truth came, I failed to live up to my expectations. An inexplicable amount of fear that I could drown in this seemingly bottomless pool enshrouded my heart. This was when it went downhill. I got the timing to breathe wrong and inhaled water instead. The water invaded my lungs and I forgot how to swim. Memories of drowning came back into my mind. I panicked even more, making me lose all sense of bearing in everything I had learned. At this point, I somehow gave up, knowing that I had failed myself, and everything suddenly became so calm. I do not know how fast or long it took my swim instructor to come to rescue me. My sense of time was warped. It probably took my swim instructor just a few seconds, but it felt like an eternity to me. One should know that I was the type of person that did not take failure well and did not dare to fail. Although I understood that failure is inevitable in life, facing it was much harder. I started to question my capability, reassessing every aspect of my life. I couldn't find a solution to end all these thoughts that were starting to drown me. Just like that, almost a week passed by, and I found myself at the swimming pool again. Shockingly, I was calmer than I had been all week. At that point, I realized I found solace in my failure. I knew I couldn't possibly do worse than the previous time. I could only do better with no fear holding me back. So, I took a deep breath and dove into the water. I succeeded this time. Once my head left the water and bathed under the rays of the sun, my heart was beating erratically with joy, and I had the biggest smile on my face. From that point on, I continued to crave a similar euphoria. I started to dive headfirst into new situations, projects, or social interactions. Once, I kept writing lines of codes over and over for a project in my Python class. When I solved it a week later, I even made a tiny fist bump in the air as I was ecstatic. Later, I ran for a Stuco Vice, a spontaneous decision. I didn't get it, but I communicated with many people, made new friends, and learned that building up a reputation first is vital in situations where I require people's trust. These moments filled my heart with anticipation for new challenges. Dear life, you can continue to throw all you got at me, but I won't falter because I dare to fail.